So, how can a lack of playtime, we talked about the benefits of play, how can the lack of play in a kid's life be detrimental? Like, what physically and mentally can happen to a kid if they don't have access or time to play?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that we've seen. Executive functioning, right? All of these skills that need to develop, right, so that children are self-regulated. That comes through play. A lot of teachers want to deny children play when they're not self-regulated, and I'm like, actually, they need more play because that's how they develop those skills to get self-regulated, right? A lot of pro-social emotional skills don't develop. Empathy, sharing, like that is part of it. Not sharing where you have to share all your things, but like having empathy for someone, wanting to work with someone else, those skills really develop as well through play and not forced, right? When we force children into group activities, that's not the same thing. It's like as they choose to come together and they choose to play. There's a lot of physical issues happening around lack of play, right? So one of the things they were saying when we were coming back to school from COVID was that kids weren't able to sit properly in the desk, right? And like things like that, right? But they weren't doing enough play activities, right? Where their bodies weren't moving and developing, right? A lot of running and jumping and crawling and all that stuff that leads to the stability to like sit properly, to even hold a pencil properly. All of those things, manipulating objects with your hands are pre-writing skills, right? And so we're
Hmm.
seeing this emergence where kids are horrible writing, not good writing skills, but that's because they didn't get a lot of fine motor development through play, right? And the same thing with sitting and coordinating, right, and walking straight. I read an article recently where they were like babies are always being carried in a seat and they're not developing their back and spine properly because they need more tummy time. And tummy time is where they explore and it gets
Yeah.
that curve and shape right in their back instead of, but if they're always being carried around in a carrier and not put on the floor for tummy time, right, then they're not going to develop those skills. So there's physical parts of the body that need to develop through play. Cognitive skills, right? Emotional skills, language, right? Just language,
Hmm.
just exploring vocalizations, conversations, all of those things. So there's so much that's not happening through play. But mainly, I would say children are not and they're not getting to their full potential if they don't have opportunities for free play. They're not exploring the possibilities of their mind, who they are, what they like, what they want, what they don't want. They'll never know these things unless they get through them through a free play, right? And if they only get to it as an adult, it's a lot harder to recapture that when you're young, right? I developed some serious confidence because I had other kids kind of like egging me on to challenge me to do things that I didn't want to do, and I would have never done that without them supporting me. And it's allowed me now as an adult to take a lot more hard challenges and be like, I can do this, I can do that, right? Because I had those
Hmm.
experiences. And so I'm not saying you won't get them as an adult. It's just harder, right? It's
Yeah.
harder to develop those things when you get older.